Oh, I'm Travis, and I s- 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 stutter. So sometimes it'll take me a couple extra seconds to get my words out, but that's it. Um, so I like just to start off by sharing that I first started stuttering when I was in the third grade. So that's around age 8 or 9, and I was put in speech therapy pretty much instantly, and 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 from then until about age 20, I was in and out of speech therapy. And in total, I saw probably close to 1 dozen speech therapists over those years, and then a couple more in my 20s as well. And in my late 20s, I decided to become a speech therapist myself. So that's actually what I've been doing for work for the past few years. So, if anyone has any questions about stuttering, then please ask them, and I'll do my best to answer as many as I can. All right. Yeah. Congratulations on reaching 50,000 subscribers. Most people who regularly watch aren't subscribed, so your message is actually reaching a much larger audience. Way to go. Thank you very much. Yeah, yesterday we hit 50,000 subs, which is crazy to me. But thank you to those of you that continue to support me and this channel. It's really beautiful. 50,000. Congratulations. Thank you. Great confidence, brother. Keep it up. 100% sure you will recover it one day. Yeah, so stuttering currently doesn't have a cure. So unless something comes out in my lifetime, chances are I will stutter for life. Now, some days we'll have more stuttering than others, but some days may not be so rough. So we'll see. But thank you for your support. Um, uh, hey Travis, have you had your stutter your entire life, or did it develop, or did you notice it at a certain point? So I first started stuttering when I was between 8 and 9 years old. And my parents noticed it and put me in speech therapy. I honestly don't recall if I noticed that I stuttered uh, before my first day of speech therapy. I may have found out right then in that first session. Um, Now, some of you may be confused as to how, and that's a reasonable question. But when I first started stuttering, it wasn't this severe. So I would stutter kind of like lightly on some words, but not as frequently as I do now. So I just didn't notice it. I think it, it until I was told, "Hey, you stutter, and this is what that means." Just curious, did you receive any pushback when you decided to become a speech therapist? Most people have been very supportive of my journey as a speech therapist, though I have met some people who, when they ask what I do for work, and I say speech therapist, and I stutter, they kind of start laughing, or they get their look on this face of just confusion as to why or how that's possible. And then I explain that I'm great, and no, I'm typically a pretty solid speech therapist. I I think, and my stutter allows me to 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 meet my clients on a much deeper level than most speech therapists can. Is it painful at all when you start to stutter a lot? Not really painful, but there's definitely discomfort, because when we stutter, there's a buildup of tension and stress in our throat, where otherwise it would just be open and free for the air in our lungs to pass through our vocal cords and then create sound. So when we stutter, it it just feels very tight here, and depending on how long we get blocked for, that can be very uncomfortable. Likewise, when that happens, our breath is being held, and we don't mean to. It's just that with that tension here, our throat, it kind of closes on us, and then we can't breathe when we stutter. So quite often, after a longer stutter, you'll probably see me take a deeper breath, and that's because I've run out of air because my breath gets held for me when I stutter. So it is exhausting for sure. It's uncomfortable, but it's not really painful. Hey Travis, I love everything you do. Have you tried delayed uh, uh, auditory feedback therapy? Uh, Also, it's a random one, but are you able to use Alexa, or do you stutter on your own with that as well? Legend you are. Thank you. Um, as far as the Alexa goes, I have tried using it at friends' houses. Sometimes when my words don't get stuck for as long, then I can use it. But typically, my speech isn't as understood for Alexa to comprehend it. But sometimes it would work, but sometimes it doesn't. And then as far as the delayed auditory feedback, I've tried using different apps with that. I've not tried the Speech Easy, which is like a hearing aid that when we speak, it'll change either the frequency and or delay when we hear our voice back to us. And for most stutterers, that can work. There's a small percentage where that just default will not work for them. Likewise with delayed auditory feedback, for those people that it does work for, typically after some time, maybe a year or so, your brain starts to pick up on this new pattern, and then it just kind of stops working for you. So yes, most of the time it can work initially, but typically it'll stop working. Oh, sorry. If the stream quality is poor, I just picked up my phone, so hopefully that helps a little. And I'm getting new equipment in the next 2 weeks, so I'll have proper video and audio then. So I hope that's okay for now. Let me move it up a little. All right, hopefully that stays. Are you in a program to try and cure the stutter? So there's no cure for stuttering. Pretty much, if you make it to your teens and you still stutter, then you will stutter for life. There are different strategies to better manage your stuttering, so you may not stutter as hard and as frequently, but there's no cure. And then Seamus, who followed up, is spot on. I'm a speech therapist as well, but I do work mostly with stutterers. So we do target treatment in our sessions for stuttering, though understanding that there's no known cure, and we will likely stutter for life. Does it happen more when you have stress? Yeah, typically emotions are pretty tied to stuttering. So if we're more tired, more anxious, stressed, if there's time pressure, we are more likely to stutter more as well. Stutters are not typically inherited, I don't think. They are a neurological issue, not a genealogical issue. In fact, most stutterers will have a family history of stuttering. Numbers range from 60 to 70% of stutterers have someone else in their family that also stutters, whether that's a parent or a grandparent, or aunt or uncle. There's a strong genetic component to stuttering, but it's not a guarantee. So for myself, for example, when I finally do start having kids, they will be more likely to stutter than children whose parents don't stutter. That's just how it goes. Do you have any escape behaviors you're trying to break the habit of, such as starting over the sentence, or word switching, etc.? Substituting words is one that I try not to do most of the time, because it doesn't feel good to 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 have what I want to say planned out, but then my stutter comes, and and then I think, oh well, I better not stutter, so let me change out some of these words. When that happens, I'm allowing stuttering to dictate my speech, and that's not fun. Likewise, not every word has a perfect synonym. So sometimes when I'm talking, but then switch out words so I won't stutter, well, the meaning of what I'm trying to say changes as well. And that just kind of stinks, because I want to express myself clearly and concisely, but then with my stutter, I sometimes feel like I can't do that. Take a bunch of magic mushrooms, it'll cure you. So I totally have, numerous times. So that's a reference to Paul Stamets, who's probably the most well-known mycologist. He reports having a stutter, taking a giant dose of mushrooms, and then he stopped stuttering. Yeah, I've tried. I've pursued various types of psychedelics. They have definitely helped with my mindset and overall acceptance with my speech. But as far as helping me to stutter less or not stutter, not yet, but maybe in the future. Do you ever use your stutter for your advantage? Like, if I was at work and didn't want to give a presentation, or if there was someone I didn't want to talk to. That is a fair question. If I was at work and chose not to do a presentation because I stutter, I mean, that would feel really bad of me, because I'm hired for a job, and then I don't do it. Now I can present. It just takes me longer, and for some stutterers, they may not be at that stage of courage, or or confidence to necessarily do that. When I was in high school and college, I would not present in school because I was too embarrassed by my stutter. Sometimes teachers were cool about it. Sometimes I would get a zero on that assignment. However, I thought I would much rather have a zero than potentially be laughed at by my peers. So yes, I technically have used my stutter to my advantage in that point, but I really try not to currently. uh, Travis, how do you feel about the weird people who obsess about you in your comments? Um, I've I've definitely gotten some comments where I think, hmm, that's different. Um, but I mean, everyone is free to say what they want. I get lots of comments that are awful and mean, um, and I leave those in as well, just to show, hey, this is an authentic profile. This is what happens in my life. This is what some people say. Most of the comments are very kind. Some are too kind, and a portion are not kind at all. But yeah, I just let them be really. Uh, Penny farthing, yeah, the bicycle. I have that tattooed on my arm. Awesome. Yeah, I may be getting a tattoo of that as well. Um, yeah, I love history, and the bicycle has fascinating history, and and the penny farthing in particular. Why are you stuttering? Um, yeah, so I don't know why. I just do. Um, Researchers don't really know why people stutter, but the main causes are genetic and neurological, which means that my brain is slightly different in structure and function, and it causes me to process language a bit differently than most people, and that results in my stutter. Yeah, sorry about the audio equipment, everyone. Yeah, I'm getting new stuff. I've ordered it already, and hopefully it'll be here soon. So by the next stream or so, the audio is better. Boy, well, that is the end of my chat that I see. Um, uh, Unless some things just aren't popping up. Have you ever had any nightmares about stuttering, or do you even stutter in your dreams? Yes, I do stutter in my dreams. Um, I, I dream every night, and I always stutter in my dreams. Um, I have nightmares about stuttering probably two times a week or so. They're pretty consistent. Yeah, it it kind of takes over my life, unfortunately. And even when I sleep, which is the chance to escape the hardships of your normal day. So it's a little tough. Um, all right. Well, I reached the bottom. Yeah. Sorry about the quality of my audio. I will be fixing that as soon as my new camera comes in. Um, and I've got new, new lighting and just a whole new setup that I'll have in this room. So thank you to here's one more. Has someone been super rude because of your stutter? Yeah, that does happen. Some people are just very mean or confused in their own lives, and they take it out on on me. Well, in that case, but yeah, uh, some people have been very mean. Most people are great though, so that's good. Um, hey, I love your vids. I wanted to take the time to say I think you're an um, amazing human being. Thank you very much. That's really nice of you. All right. Thank you to E squared for moderating. And if you E squared can reach out to me via email at travis.stuttering@gmail.com. I've been trying to contact you privately, but it's been hard. So please reach out to me. Thank you for joining. And I will see you all next week, hopefully. All right. Take care.